This is our little rabbit, pet rabbit, Coco Puff. One day we came to pet her and we noticed that her ears were cold. This is a new location for her. And so we realized that the draft was coming from the garage. And even though the garage has heater, it still is not the same. And there is a lot of cold air coming from here. So my husband decided to put weather strip into the door. What kind of weather strip did you get?
Well, I bought this weather stripping from Home Depot. It comes as a kit. And I got white because our door is white, but you can get silver, you can get black, you can get gold colored, whatever it is that you want. And it comes with the screws and everything that you need. You probably have to cut it to fit, so there's going to be some measurements that we have to take. But anyway, I always like going to Home Depot because it seems like things are very easy to find there. They're very organized, and the people seem to be very helpful. And if you ask questions, you know, they're more than happy to direct you in the area that you need to go. So the only tools that you're going to need for this job is you're going to need some snips, because once you measure it, you're going to have to cut it. You're going to need a pencil, a tape measure, and a drill with a Phillips bit, and that's it. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the package and see what we get. Another thing I like about Home Depot, their packages are much easier to open. Okay, so we have 3 pieces. We have 1 shorter piece and 2 longer pieces. And so you can tell that these are for the sides of the door, and this goes across the top of the door.
And what goes in the bottom?
A sweep. A door sweep goes on that. That's not this.
That's separate?
Yeah, that's separate.
Okay.
Okay, so what I always like to do is I like to put my top piece on first, because when you put your top piece on, you can make sure that your side pieces will butt up to there. So we're going to take a measurement. And right there, I'm looking at 30 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to measure the metal part. 30 3/4 of an inch.
Okay, so you don't
So you gotta look at
include
what you gotta
you
look at
don't include this
No,
part.
because we're going to cut that later.
Ah.
Okay, so look, you're going to have to bring it. So we're going to measure it 30 3/4. We're going to mark it. Okay. And if you notice, one of the holes is going to be outside of there, so we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure 30 3/4, if we can, to where we have 2 holes. Let's see. So it don't have to be exact. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut this side first. You see what I'm saying? Because we want 30 3/4, but we also want to make sure that we have a hole. Okay. You could always drill a new one, but
It's
for
easier
this
that way.
video, yeah, it's just I would rather. This particular weather stripping is made for a 36-inch door, which is typically the biggest door that you have on a house, which is usually your entry door in the front. But garage doors and rear doors are usually smaller.
So when you go to Home Depot or whatever, you have to look for a 36-inch.
Well, they only come 36, and then
Ah.
you have to cut them.
I
Is what I'm
see.
saying. So there we go. We cut that side, and then sometimes you have to bend this back over a little bit because the snips. Okay. And now we're going to measure our 30 3/4. All right, so I'm marking the 30 3/4. Okay, you can see my mark. And it's better to cut a little bit at a time rather than trying to cut the whole piece. And we can flip it over. Bingo. Okay. Now let's check it, make sure. You want to close the door because, of course, you want to make sure that the rubber meets the door. So what I'm going to do is get a small step ladder. You don't want to go too tight against the door. You just want it to touch, because when you tighten these screws, sometimes it'll compress and push that gasket closer. So basically, you can see what I'm doing. I'm just putting it up there, touching the door, and that's where I want to be. So it looks like it fits perfect. So I'm going to grab my screws and my screw gun. Here's the screws.
Oh, they come in a little tube.
Yeah, otherwise they would get lost, you know.
That comes with the kit.
Yeah, they come. That's how they package it. So, okay, we'll just grab the.
All are the same size.
Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they give you a couple extras too, because you know you end up losing. So I'm just going to hold it up there again, just so that rubber makes contact with the door. You don't want to over tighten these, because if you over tighten them, it's going to squeeze that gasket. It's going to crush this metal piece, which will put too much force on that rubber.
Okay.
So you just want to put them on there until they're snug. See?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the rabbit's going to be happy. Cold ears are not cool. One more.
We're going to be saving on heating too.
Yes, exactly. All that cold air was coming in the house. All right. Now we'll do the hinge side. We're going to take a measurement from the bottom. And we are looking at 79 right on the button. So I'm going to grab my weather stripping. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. We're going to do this one. It doesn't really matter, but we're going to do this one, and we're going to measure down 79 inches. Okay. If I could get my trusty assistant to hold the end of my tape measure right there. Yep, on the metal, right?
On the metal.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to measure down 79. And I'm going to mark it. Same procedure. We'll straighten the little flange out since you
Let me
cut
see
it.
how you do that.
See, sometimes that'll bend outward, so you can just grab it a little bit and just bend it over
I see.
with your snips.
Okay.
Or you can use a pair of pliers, but these work just fine. Okay. We're going to grab some screws. I don't advise holding these in your mouth.
You don't advise?
No, because you could swallow them.
You can swallow them. So
Oh,
take them out. Take them out.
We're not a seasoned professional. So, this is something anybody can do if they want to. Oh, we forgot to cut a rubber. We had to cut the rubber. There we go. All right. Want to make good contact. And you can see here, if you put how you can't see a gap between the rubber and the door, but it's not too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to work my way down. That way you can push against it and make sure it stays. Okay, so we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 more. 1, 2, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, move this out of the way. You don't have to use like a real fancy drill like I got. This is more because I do construction, so I got this heavy duty model. But you know, you can buy a different model which is more suited to just home repairs, a little bit lighter. You don't have to have that big battery on there and all that. See how nice that is? As we work our way down. Make all the difference in the world. Keeping the cold air out. That's what we want to do, and keeping the air conditioning in the summer. A lot of heat loss goes through a garage door.
Yes. And now you're gonna do the same. Are you gonna put another hole in that on the bottom?
You can if you want. I'm not going to right now for the video's sake. But you could also drill another hole at the bottom if you want it.
And then you're gonna do the same here,
Yeah, we're
correct?
gonna do the same for this side. Okay. So we're gonna measure down.
Wouldn't it be the same measure as the other one? No.
No, you always double check because the door could be out of square.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So always,
Yeah.
even
it's
though
like this is 79 and an eighth. You see?
okay.
So we would have been an 1/8 inch off. We would have had a gap at the bottom.
Well, I learned something new today
Yeah,
because I thought they were the same size.
Yeah, doors are never square.
Okay.
Hardly ever. I mean, you know. And when I say square, we're talking about 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, you know, anything like that matters when you're doing the weather stripping.
Yes.
Okay, 79 to 8 right there. That one needs another hole in it, but we'll put that in later. I can put it in this video. In fact, you know what we'll do? Let's go ahead and do it this way, since that hole is so far away.
Okay, you're gonna put another hole.
Yeah. No, just for the video because we don't have time to. Let's see, 79 and 8. We're gonna measure this way. You got it?
Yes. So why did you just do it that way? Explain again.
Because we didn't have the hole close.
Okay.
So when I flipped it around, see, look at the distance between that hole in there, and then look at the other end. You see?
Wait, let me see because okay.
See, you only got that much.
And then the other end.
The other side is like that much, and so we would have had that much of a length without it being
I
screwed.
see. I see.
So that's why. So just look at each piece, you know, and my dog wants to get involved.
She's the assistant.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna fix that little
She's the protector.
tab. We're gonna flip it upside down. We got to cut this little. Remember, we got to cut this little strip of gasket that's extra. And these snips work great.
If you don't have a snip, what else can you use?
Well, you can use a hacksaw, but you know that's a lot easier to use a pair of snips.
Or scissors, right? Like any.
No, scissors won't cut the metal.
Okay.
You know, that's the problem. You have metal. So you know you can buy cheap, snips. So you know either snips or a hacksaw, but I would prefer snips. It's a lot easier than trying to hold this and cut it with a hacksaw. Okay. Set it in there just like we did the other one. That one's a little bit tight, but I think it'll work. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Again, I'm just making contact.
Not too tight.
Nope. Otherwise, it'll make it hard to close your door. It's going to be a little bit harder to close the door anyway, because you know you don't have as much play in it. but you know that your door is actually sealing, and that's what we're really trying to get. Oops. And we're almost done. You'll notice it's bowed out a little bit, but it won't be when I get down to the bottom. Okay, we need some more
And you
screws.
always do this with the door closed. It cannot be open.
Because otherwise you wouldn't know where to put the gasket. You see, you need the door in its closed position. That way you know that when the door is shut, you're contacting that gasket. Okay, hopefully we have some extras here. What I'll probably do, I'll see if I can get one in here. It looks like I can, yes. Okay. Oops. A little bit tough with the door closed with the knob there. You could probably do this too. We'll come down here. We'll put one in. Then we can come back and get that one. Push this over a little bit. Like a little bell. Just have to close the door a little bit. Get that up there. There we go. Okay. Working our way down. For that one, we'll open it too.
And you open it because it's too tight.
Yeah, and it's not going to move now because I have so many screws into it. Nice and tight, all the way down.
Nice and tight.
You know,
And it doesn't look bad at all because it's
No.
the same color.
right, I always like getting the same color, you know, because
It doesn't, yeah, it does look beautiful. I like it.
there we go.
Now it's complete. I'm gonna have a happy bunny, a happy rabbit, and we're gonna
I'm sure
have
she'll let us know.
a happy checking account.
She'll let us know, I'm sure,
Yes.
if it's not